Hi, welcome to one more episode of Zindagi Ka Safar. So when you're talking about Zindagi Ka Safar, for me and for Bengalis, people like me and Urmila, who is our guest today, one of the important aspect is the Durga Puja which is there. Yeah? So when Urmila called up and said, "Are kotha ache ki Durga Puja last year when we were in a lockdown?" I said, "Yeah, why come over? We are having something, a small thing," and this is where she had come over with her family. So I'll just move little bit to so that people can see all the people. Otherwise, I'm blocking one or two people who are there. But this is the wonderful thing which is there about Zindagi, that there's something which is there about festival. There are challenges you go about doing it. The same thing is there about Zindagi Ka Safar. And to talk more about that, so we'll have Urmila Chandy, who is based in Bangalore, who will talk more about it. So Urmila, welcome one more time. And let's hear about your Zindagi Ka Safar till now.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tuheen. Thank you for having me on this wonderful platform. I think you're doing such a good job. And Zindagi Ka Safar, it's such a beautiful coin, everybody has a different safar.
Hmm.
Okay. So me being a Bangali in Bangalore, I am so glad that I met you. Okay.
Okay.
So we connected Bong Bong and
Hmm.
Durga Puja, of course, right? You cannot take a Bangali away from Durga Puja.
Yes.
So it was a beautiful Durga Puja that we spent together. And
Hmm.
my Zindagi, my safar has been very colorful. Okay, very, very
Hmm.
colorful. There has been no dull moment in my life.
Wow.
So I started my journey. Of course, I was born in Kolkata
Hmm.
and in a Bengali middle class, orthodox middle class family.
Oh.
And then I did a whole lot of things which no Bengali does.
Uh-huh.
Okay. No
Okay.
Bengali does what I did.
Uh,
So, including I ran away from home, I
oh.
married outside the caste. I broke all the stereotypes. I did not marry a Bengali.
Hmm.
I don't speak fluent Bangla, and
Hmm.
all those things I did, which I'm not very proud of. But again, it's okay. That my colorful zindagi is something that I really loved. I have so many memories, so many things that I treasure in the
Hmm.
last, so many years that I've spent, and it's been a wonderful journey. I must say, I've enjoyed every phase of my life.
Hmm.
I started in Kolkata, then did my schooling in Kolkata.
Hmm.
Went to a school called Ashok Hall, and
Hmm.
then after that, I went to Loreto College in Kolkata.
Hmm.
And after that, I went to Bombay. So I did my, I joined Sophia College in Bombay. I did
Hmm.
my psychology, master's in behavioral psychology.
Wow.
And then after that, I did a whole lot of things, which are like totally crazy. I went, those hormones went totally crazy. And I had this booth, in my head that कुछ करना है একটা
Uh,
কিছু করতে হবে. I don't want to live a mundane 9 to 5 life. I don't want to
hmm.
join a 9 to 5 job. I don't want to marry a normal guy and
Hmm.
then end up becoming a Mrs. So and so,
Hmm.
daughter of so and so, daughter-in-law of so and so, then mother of so and so. I said that
Hmm.
is not identity, right? That
Hmm.
is by default. It will happen by default. So I wanted something on my own. So,
Hmm.
one, I wanted to join airlines. So when I was like 18, 19 years old, I had this booth. Okay, travel. I have the
Okay.
travel bug really bit me really bad.
Hmm.
So either I wanted to join hospitality, hotel industry, or I wanted to join airline. And
Hmm.
airline also, I used to apply to all the hotels, Taj, Oberoi, Leela, whatever was in Bombay that time. I used to
Hmm.
apply for jobs even though I had not finished my graduation from college, only bunk college and go for
Oh.
interview. Bunk college, go
Okay.
for interview. These things crazy.
Hmm.
And of course, no internet, nothing. So newspaper has to keep the cutting from newspaper. Newspaper they advertise, has to keep the cutting and quietly send my profile and resume and all that.
Hmm.
And then the big opening came when I had applied for Cathay Pacific Airways, Emirates, Singapore Airlines, British Airways, and Air India. So
Okay.
quietly, without telling my parents, like I said, no Bengali Orthodox middle class family, I know my parents will say, "Eta ki hoche?" Okay, so are you okay? So it was
Yes.
like no normal girl from a middle
Yeah.
class family goes and join hotel. No
Yeah.
normal girl joins airlines.
Uh,
Okay, so এটা কি হচ্ছে লোকে কি বলবে লোক क्या कहेंगे was a major thing. Okay,
hmm.
so since I had this booth in my head, and went ahead. I went for so many interviews, bunking college, bunking college. And I got into a few airlines. I chose Cathay Pacific because it was based in Hong Kong. Some reason I was very attracted to go to Hong Kong. Okay, so not to Dubai, not to any other place, but Hong Kong. So when my appointment letter came from Cathay Pacific, I finished round 1, round 2, round 3, medical, everything over, passport, visa. Last day before my departure, I told my parents, okay, that I have got selected for this airline and I'm leaving tonight, 12 o'clock is my flight. Okay. And when I told them on the dinner table, okay, I think 8 or 9 o'clock we were having dinner. So then I told them, and my God, okay, Mahabharat in the house, Mahabharat, okay. They were like shocked. How can you do this? No middle class, God-fearing family girl will ever do this. Who will marry you? How will we show our face in society? All that happened at home. Okay, but I said nothing doing. Okay, I actually ran away from my house. I ran away. So
how old were you, Urmila, at that point?
I was 21.
Oh, lovely.
So I just packed my bags, zero money in my pocket. I just packed my bag and I left India. Okay, for the next 20 years, I was out of India. So it was an adventure. I can say my job, my passion, my, that adventure, everything that I wanted was all rolled into one. So that was my dream job. I could travel. I could, of course, you learn so much with the airlines. They teach you, they groom you so much. They teach you about aviation. And when you go to different countries, you travel to different countries, different continents, different cultures, you meet different kind of people. So you, learn languages, you see different places, you eat different kinds of food, and the education, the learning is huge. I mean, I would never have learned all that sitting in Bombay. Okay, my international travel gave me that exposure, which I think has been more than what I learned from KG to PG. Okay, that learning was huge. So of course, the life was good. I got to travel. I got to go to more than 100 countries in the world. There are 200 countries, so half the world was covered. But of course, from the outside world, it looks like a very glamorous world. When you talk about hospitality, hotel industry, airlines, from outside, it looked very glamorous. Okay. And that's when my bubble burst. Okay. I was thinking, you don't have to do any work, hard work. You just have to, present yourself and, look nice and all that. Nothing like that. You have to work really, really hard. You have to work like a donkey. I'm not even saying dog. You have to work like a donkey. Okay. So you have to be in uniform. You have to be well groomed. You have to wear these 3-inch high heels. You have to fly. Aircraft flies at an angle up and down. So you have to go up and down, pulling those heavy food trolleys. You are jet lagged. You have not eaten. You have not slept. You are on a different time zone. We used to fly from Hong Kong to Los Angeles, 18 hours. Wow. And when you reach there, you are actually one day behind.
Yes.
So I used to not know. I said, what is date? What is the time? Should I have breakfast or should I have dinner? Or, my body clock gone haywire, but all that is there, but it's okay. And I would say it's okay if it's a dream, if it's a passion, come true, don't negotiate. Okay. I never negotiated because that was my dream. My 14 years went like a dream. Okay. 14 years later, I quit because my back was, not be able to take it because you get, back problems after that. But those 14 years were a dream. There was no negotiation and there was huge learning. Okay. Huge learning from different cultures, from different people I work with, Hong Kong being a Chinese place. So you work with the Chinese and different nationalities. So it was great experience that, of course, airline pays you well, they look after you well, the perks were really good. So that was my first job. And it was this is how, I say, I started my life up in the skies, blue skies, inside aluminum tubes, 35,000 above the earth, flying from one continent to another, like an open, free-spirited bird. Okay, that bird, if you put a bird in a cage, that bird will survive, but the bird will be very, very unhappy. Okay, so I was that bird. Okay, you cannot put me in a cage. If you put me in a cage, it will be very, very disastrous for, me and the other person also.
Yeah.
So then, of course, my parents were very unhappy because I did all that. And but parents being parents, they accept you. After some time, they forgive you also. So that was my first. And then I went and married outside the caste also. So that time, I'm talking about 1990s, it was a very big thing, marrying from a Hindu family, marrying Christian family, marrying from Kolkata to Kerala, and ora beef khabe, amra mach khabo, oh, ki kore hobe, and all that was there. But it's okay. I mean, I just believe, it's okay. We are all Indians. We are all just because you worship a different religion, just because you have a different culture, it doesn't mean you're different. You have to be. For me, it doesn't matter. For my husband, also doesn't matter. He's a most open-minded person. We celebrate Diwali also, Durga Puja also, Easter also, Christmas also. Everything is the same. So we have, I would say, I have the best of both the worlds. Okay, two worlds that I lived in, and it's been the best of both the worlds. Bechara, my son is a confused lot. Okay, my son, because he was born in Hong Kong, he thinks he's British. Okay, because Hong Kong was under British colony that time, 96. So he thinks he's British. He does not speak Bangla. He doesn't speak Malayalam. He speaks only English, and he doesn't touch fish. He doesn't. Being Kolkata and Kerala, both of us love fish. And the worst part is he is so allergic to fish and the smell. So whenever I fry fish, Bengali family fish has to be there. So whenever I fry fish in my house, my son will go and open all the windows. Exhaust. So much smell. How can he tolerate the smell? So it's okay. But that's okay. My son is also grown up. He's a little bit confused. Even now, he's trying to find out what is my true identity? Who am I? A little confused, but it's okay. He'll figure out. So my life has been very, very colorful. My journey has been colorful. My Zindagi Ka Safar has been, I can actually write so many books. So many things have happened, so many incidents, so many people I've met in my journey. And after I moved back to India, I joined the corporate world. I was with Royal Sundaram Insurance for a while. Before that, I was with Star TV for a while, 4 years. So where I did voiceover artist and production. So I learned how to do production. Okay, so editing and all that I learned. So I learned many things. And finally, last 10 years, I'm into training, coaching, mentoring, and facilitating. So I'm a trainer, image consultant also. So by certification, I'm an image consultant. By education, I'm a psychologist. By passion, I'm a trainer. By interest, I'm a learner. So you have seen me in the L&D. I attend all the L&D programs. And when I'm not taking a class, when I'm not teaching, I'm sitting in somebody else's class. Okay, I attend a lot of courses even today. I attend a lot of courses, seminars, webinars, workshops whenever I get the opportunity.
Okay, so Urmila, you were talking about that your son has been born up in Hong Kong, and in a way, he's little confused. He does not like fish and otherwise. So from there onwards, how has your journey been about when you moved back to India and otherwise? So how has things been?
When I moved back to India after a gap of 20 years, I was away for 20 years. I just found, because of my airline background, I was with the airline for 14 years, then Star TV. With airline had taught me so many things, which I thought I could bring that knowledge.
Yes.
Okay. So I just, of course, we had this big fight because my husband and I, because he's from Kerala and I'm from Bengal. So where to, settle, which part of India? Okay, so I wanted to settle in Bombay, but he said, no, not Bombay, it's such a crowded place. So we decided to come to Bangalore. And I had this mental block, Bangalore being south of India, I don't speak Kannada, how will we manage and all that? But believe me, Tuhin, it's been such a lovely place. I love Bangalore. I've been here now 10 years almost. And it's such a cosmopolitan place. And we have been so well accepted. Don't speak Kannada much, only Gottu, Swalpa Gottu. But, it's never been a handicap, never been a challenge. Okay, so Bangalore has been a lovely place. And I also felt because of my background with the airlines, I just felt I needed to add, a certification to myself. So I went and enrolled in image consulting workshop, and then I thereby joined a diploma in image consulting, a 1.5-year course from ICBI. ICBI being Image Consulting Business Institute of India in Bangalore, I joined, and I did this diploma, which gave me a certification to become an image consultant. And thereby I started, practicing in 2011. From 2011, I also opened a finishing school, which is called Finishing Touches. Okay, Finishing Touches Consulting and Training. So I approached a lot of corporates, and I went to a lot of hotels and to teach them about image. Image means, how you present yourself as a package, your external image and your internal image. External image means your appearance, your grooming, your dressing, your body language before you open your mouth. Okay, first 2, 3, 4 seconds that people see you, right? Because you're not opening your mouth and speaking. For 2, 3, 4 seconds, you're quiet, you smile, you nod, you make eye contact, and people check out what you're wearing, your appearance, and all that. That's image. And after that, it's of course your skills. You have to open your mouth and you have to showcase your skills. So I also went and enrolled myself in TTT programs, train the trainer program. So became a certified trainer, soft skill trainer. So till date, I have done six TTT programs. So I've been certified by different institutes, the best in India, even abroad, because I just feel this training industry is so vast. Okay, I mean, I can be even better, and I can learn so much from so many mentors, so many gurus, so many people I interact with. So I keep doing courses. I keep enrolling in some course or the other. I've done 4 NLP courses, though I'm a certified practitioner NLP. I still join NLP courses. NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. So certification at ICBI, from ICBI Image Consulting, certification in soft skill training, certification in NLP, and certification from Strength Finder, Gallup Strength Finder, and a lot of other courses that I did in between, and I still do. Like even today, I still love attending classes. I love attending. যেটা আমি কলেজে পড়াশোনা করিনি, স্কুলে পড়াশোনা করিনি, to be a backbencher, catching up. Seriously, ওখানে I did study that time. So God is giving me this. Okay, now study. So in a day, I read for at least 6-7 hours in a day.
Awesome.
Because as a trainer, as a coach, as a mentor, you need to be one step ahead of your participants, right? So you need to be growing in your knowledge and skills. So that's what I do. Every day I attend courses or I'm teaching. So online also, last 1+ year, how it happened. My last March pandemic happened, right? So my training was going good. I had a lot of assignments. I was traveling all over India, a lot of clients over there. I had more than 100 clients. A lot of things were in the pipeline, coming up, assignments, and suddenly stop, full stop.
Yes.
So it took me a while last March to adopt, because I've never ever done an online session before. So it took me about a month. I had to learn how to do Zoom, Google Meet, and all this. I had to learn how to be in front of the camera. I was very camera shy. So, but then it took me a month. After 1 month, I was back in front, back in business, I would say. So it's been good. We have learned so many things in the pandemic, and it's taught me a lot of things also. Learned, you come out of comfort zone, doesn't matter. Obstacles in life will come. Okay, something else will, if not COVID, something else will come. I can't say, Jay, that I can't do this, I can't do that. I would just go ahead and learn. If I can't do it, I'll learn how to do it.
Yeah.
And for me, my father has taught me and my sister, because in my family there are no brothers. So there are 2 girls. My father brought us up like boys. Okay. No special privileges for being a lady. Nothing special. Okay. You earn. You don't even pocket money. Okay. When we were kids, we had never got pocket money. My father used to make me earn money. Okay. How earn money? In a garden mein ghas hota hai, ghas weeds. Wo ghas nikalo. You earn like, a 50 paisa, 1 rupee, 2 rupee, like that. My father had some gray hair. So ek karke baal nikalo, gray hair nikalo. So you get 1 paisa for each gray hair. On Sundays, wash the car. Bartan majo, help mother, you'll get 2 rupees. So like that, we used to earn pocket money in a month, maybe 5 rupees, 10 rupees, 20 rupees. So I have learned the value that you have to earn your own money. Nothing is free in this whole world. And the best part is, as a woman, I just felt once you earn your money, you have your financial stability and independence. People look at you differently. In India, especially, people look at a woman who's earning, who's independent, who's strong very differently. Okay, nobody messes with you. Nobody messes with you. Okay, so that is my biggest learning, and I want to tell whoever is watching your program, to him, all girls, all women should go out and earn their own money. Okay, it changes. Your mother-in-law looks at you differently, father-in-law treats you differently, your friends look at you differently, your colleagues look at you differently. It's so different when you're independent. Your husband also treats you differently.
Yeah. No, but I think that's a great message which you are giving. And I have, before you, I think around 35 guests who have come, and few of them has been ladies, but and many of them working, but none of them have spoken about this part which is there. And I definitely believe, I have two daughters, as you are aware. I think I will definitely ask them to hear your podcast specifically, because I think this is a message which I think every girl or a woman needs to be having. But having said that, you have done so much. But one thing which really intrigued me is about your image consulting. So as you spoken and you explained it, and you very brief. Okay, so let me try to challenge you. Yeah. So you have this handsome host who is sitting in front of you, and uh, so let's just talk about appearance and talk about clothing as an example. And you have said we are talking about the online medium which is there. So what kind of clothing should someone be wearing when I'm getting into online mode and in a formal mechanism? Ours is a semi-formal thing. So what kind of thing? So you can take me as an example and give some guidance for everyone.
Yeah, sure. See, in dressing, when it comes to dressing, there are 4 levels of dressing. 4. Okay. First one is called street casual. Street
Okay.
casual means what we wear at home. At home, whatever we are comfortable in wearing. Could be t-shirt, could be track pant, could be, ladies wear nightie or whatever. So that is at home. We don't want to be seen like that. Okay. So
Okay.
in that level of clothing, it's got no collar, no structure. Okay. No
Okay.
collar, no structure. So if for you are wearing a round neck t-shirt or a V-neck t-shirt, there's no collar and no structure. T-shirt has no structure also, right? So that is street casual. Second level is smart casual. Okay, smart
Okay.
casual means we add a collar. Okay, collar. So at least when we are seeing on the camera, okay, like for example, virtual meetings are happening, you are working from home. So at least all of us should make the effort to dress at least more decently that we are at street casual level. Okay, so
Definitely.
smart casual means you add a collar. So for example, I'm wearing a kurti today, but this has a collar. Okay, so collar is important. And it's important that you have full sleeves, like sleeves should be covered. Okay, so no sleeveless. If it's like, working from home and you have the camera on, nobody wants to see skin, no skin show. Okay,
Okay.
covered. Okay, level 3. Okay, so first level is street casual, level 2 is smart casual.
Smart casual.
Level 3 is business casual. Okay,
Okay.
business casual. Business casual is, I think, what you are dressed as today. So business casual means you add a third layer, okay, what you're wearing on top. So right now you're wearing something like, Nehru coat.
Yeah.
Right now it could be called a Modi coat. Okay, name is only changed. Nehru has become Modi coat. So
Yes.
this is, I would say, it's a level 3, which is smart casual. But again, I think you're more ethnic, more Indian. Okay, so the colors that you have chosen to wear, red, blue, and all that. So those colors are not corporate colors. Okay,
Okay.
work colors. So when you're working, and we want to be taken as a serious professional. Okay, serious professional, like no nonsense. We stick to gray. Okay, black, white, blues, and browns. Okay, so these are neutral colors. So gray, black, white, blue, and brown. You can't go wrong. Okay, so if you want to be seen as professional, authoritative, your stuff, and these are the colors. Okay, so a layer. Okay, now the fourth level is formal. Formal
Okay.
means you wear a full business suit. Okay, so head to toe you're wearing a matching suit. So for example, and black. black being the highest in degree of authority. If you want to be treated with authority, black blazer. Okay, black blazer is your best friend. Okay, so I also keep my black blazer ready. Okay, so whenever I have to be on the camera, my black blazer is always there. Okay, so if I'm doing a training or a corporate training or in a meeting when I need to come across as a leader, when I need to come across as somebody who means business. Okay, so I know what I'm saying. I will always wear a black blazer. And the thing is, people react to you differently. The moment you dress higher up in the levels, from street casual, you go to smart casual, to business casual, to formal, people react, people look at you differently. Even my watchman who's always sleeping, he gets up and does salam, salam, madam, good morning, madam. That's a difference. That's a difference in how people look at you. So yes, so you are, I think today on level 3, okay? If you want to move to level 4, then the colors have to be black, white, gray, blue, and brown. And there should be no skin show. So the outer layer should be a full sleeve one. And the collar, this is the Mandarin collar that you're wearing. So again, this is an Indian counterpart, but normally it should be a lapel. Okay, lapel is a Western wear and Indian is the Mandarin collar, Chinese collar. So these things would change. Like, if you came across as a solid colors. Okay, right now I'm seeing a lot of colors on your jacket that you're wearing. So solid color will be solid appearance and gives a lot of gravitas and power. Okay, the moment you wear a solid color, you will feel different, and people will look at you differently, as compared to you wear something very halka pulka, colorful. More prints and more patterns, people look at you differently. People don't take you seriously. Okay, so what you're wearing, either if you want to come across as very authoritative and a lot of gravitas, solid colors being plain, okay, gray, black, blue, and if you want to be like little less authoritative but more approachable, not so like that. So then you can go for little small prints. You can go for 2 colors. You can go for pastel colors, light colors, light blue, light green, light yellow, light, pink, light colors. Then you come across as more approachable and, less formidable. Imagine you're wearing a black jacket. Black jacket makes you very powerful and very formidable. People automatically, maintain distance.
You were talking about using Modi as an example. Yeah. So if you can explain us from that point.
Okay. So when you see Narendra Modi, okay, he's a very smart guy. So when he calls himself Desh Ka Pradhan Sevak. Desh Ka Pradhan Sevak. So then he wears white or light color kurtas, okay, light orange, light pink, light blue, because he wants to come across as, more approachable, more friendly. But when he goes abroad, okay, he is now, dealing with all the world leaders. So there he wears a dark color suit. Okay, dark, either black or dark blue or dark gray or maroon, dark colors. So colors also play a huge role. How you want people to perceive you? Okay, you want to be friendly, you wear colorful stuff. You want to be, not so friendly. You want to draw your boundaries. Then you wear solid colors and dark colors. Okay, so for example, like if you want orange, if you wear orange, okay, orange is the perception of orange is that you're a very social person, sociable, very friendly and social person. Yellow means you're very high on energy. When you wear blue, you come across as very professional, very truthful, very honest, and very calm person. When you wear green, you're perceived as you are very connected to earth. Okay, you're an earthy person, you're connected to earth. When you wear brown, you take it as a very stable person. Okay, stable and trustworthy person. So each color, okay, communication colors have so much communication. Okay, so choose what you want to come across as, right? Okay. And then pull out those colors. Like today, even my room here, this is my bedroom, so which is converted to my office now. The colors are light purple. Okay, light purple being the color of royalty, okay, like orchid color. So orchid is a royalty, royal flower. So the color has a lot of rich tones to it. It's a very rich color. kings. Okay, if you look at kings, if you look at the Thai king and the queen, they wear these kind of colors. So that is the perception that I wanted to create, so that I also feel like I'm very rich. When I come in here, I feel like I'm very rich. I'm not, but that's a perception that I also feel. Yeah.
Okay, definitely. There are a couple of things which I need to be adding. One, you said your job was very high paying and was giving you a lot of things. So that more and less, I think, makes you rich. The second is more importantly, is the kind of knowledge which you have not only gathered, but I think you are doing this wonderful task of sharing this knowledge with other people who are there. Yeah. And thanks a lot. I think really gave me a great insight about what kind of colors to be wearing. Yeah. Okay, we'll just now move on to the last segment of our talk show, and which we call is more, as Bong call it, as Bangali Adda. So it will be a very lazy kind of round which is there. Yeah. Now, given that you not only do corporate training, I am aware you also teach to the students. And somewhere you also mentioned that you were slightly naughty in the classes. So tell us about one weird thing which you might have done in your school or college, which maybe your teachers never caught up or your parents don't know.
Lot of things are there. Of course, I was a bunk master.
Oh,
So
okay.
I bunked college and school left, right, and center. Went out with my friends, and Adda was a very big thing. And of course, we had no money. Those days, like, no money, no pocket money, like I said. So we should just go for, time pass. But one thing I remember that I used to do in school very regularly, because I was in Ashok Hall and in Kolkata, and I hated maths. I hated maths teacher. Okay, so maths was never my favorite subject, and maths teacher was not my favorite. I hope she's not listening. Every period was 45 minutes duration. So I used to just sneak out of the class after about half an hour and go to the main hall and ring the bell. The end of the period, the bell. So I used to just go and press the bell. Ki period khatam ho gaya. So everybody running out, yay, school mein how we do, halla balla, maths period khatam, yay. So that was my badmashi that I used to do for every math session, because I didn't like the teacher and I didn't like the subject. So that is.
And you never got caught. You're telling me you're doing it frequently, but never got caught.
Yeah, I hope now I don't get caught.
Now you don't get caught. Yeah. And again, you will be asked to come back and sit in the class, and instead of 45 minutes, now it will be 1.5 hours classes for all those things which is there. No, I think that's a very interesting one which is there. Okay, let's move to another one. Somewhere you, I think one point you mentioned, and there was a good advice, as I pointed out, about being a lady and how maybe you should be earning. But other than that, what will be one good thing about being a lady, or maybe one not so good thing of being a woman or lady, whatever way you want to call it? Which you might have faced, or you believe majority of the people are facing?
Okay. One not so good thing about being a lady is I feel men look at ladies like, you're one level below. Okay, then they don't look at, I'm talking general, men, most men, not everybody. So most men look at a woman like, you are like, no good. To kitchen samal. Okay, so that is how men look at it. Like, you can only be a homemaker, or you can only do cooking and all that. So that is how they look. They look at women that you have no brains to do more than this. So that is how I feel. And I really, get very angry with this. I said, look at a woman's skills, look at her knowledge, look at her experience, look at her value add, and look at the way a woman multitask. You run a house also, you run your career also, you look after the family, and you look after yourself. You juggle so many roles. But, men just look at it like this, like, you are one level below. So that I don't like. Okay. The other thing I don't like about being a woman is most men think that you are a bad driver. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yes,
bad driver. Women can't drive. And I get very angry because I'm a very good driver. Okay. I've been driving from the age of 17 onwards. and I can drive anything on earth, even a truck. So I am a very good driver, very safe driver. Touch wood, never had an accident, never. And driven in all parts of the world, all cars, all kinds of cars. So women are good drivers. It's not that women are not good drivers. So these are the two things I would say I don't like when men treat you like that. Nice thing about being a woman is so many. I think it's God's gift that you're born a woman. Woman is special. Women can do so many things that a man can't do. For example, a woman has a very strong sixth sense, which is intuition, okay, which is an inner voice. Women can see things that a man can't. Women can feel things that a man can't. Okay, for example, I speak to my husband only. My husband is like, I after we had a conversation, then he said, "What do you feel?" He said, "Nothing, kuch nahi." So, but I can go into that and find out so many things. That person said like this, the intention was like that, the meaning was something else, and all that. Men don't notice on this. I don't know, Tugin, if you do this, but
I also
acha,
don't.
he's saying, "Really? You don't, right?" So I think that's being a woman, we have that sixth sense to notice a lot more. Okay, so I always give this example. The other day, uh, my maid who comes to my house for cooking, my cook. So she was just telling me, onion was very expensive, onion price. So she's telling me, "Madam, aapko pata hai, प्याज का भाव 80 रुपए हो गया, okay, 80 rupees for onion." So I said, "हाँ, pata hai," because I saw it on the news also. And then she went. So later, so my husband also was there. He also heard, but he didn't bother, right? But later, when I was playing it back, I realized that she's telling me why she's telling me this. I know, I watch news, I read newspapers. She's telling me because she needs a price hike because she can't afford onions. Indian cooking, we can't cook without onion. So she and I go to the same bhajiwala. So
Yes.
maybe I can afford 80 rupees a kilo onions, she can't. So I told my husband, "Did you hear what she said?" He said, I don't know, something, about onions. So I said, no, 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 we have to give her a raise. Okay, so next time she came, I gave her a raise. And she was very happy. She didn't ask for a raise. So this is how women are gifted with a sixth sense. They see things, they hear things, they feel things which men don't. Okay, so I call that my gift also. I'm very sensitive. So sometimes it can be a not so great thing because you sense things that may not be there.
Yes.
So you go and feel bad about something. Maybe it's not there only, but a lot of times my sixth sense is correct. My gut feeling is correct. So my gut feeling, my sixth sense, and my inner voice is very, very strong. I listen to it. It works most of the time. It works.
There have been, I think, as you very rightly said, the sixth sense definitely, I think, is a big asset for the ladies and all. But sometimes, as a husband, you can get into a problem. Like there have been instances. So I will interact with some of my lady friends and all. So I'm interacting with 20 of them and all. But with one person, suddenly my wife will be. It's not. I'm not getting, matlab, good vibes and all. Okay, so if I then play it back, and what would have been happening in the interaction is maybe there has been some amount of flirting either from my side or from maybe that so-called friend of mine side and all, which is there. And so indirectly, so I don't know what that sixth sense is, but definitely it's not a good news for me. So yeah.
Yeah, actually, yeah. And the best part is when you ask a woman, I'm sure Tuhin, you would have felt it when you're into, something like this happens and you ask your wife, what happened? Are you okay? She'll say, nothing happened. I'm okay. And that is a sign that something is seriously wrong. When a
Yes.
woman says, when you ask a woman, like, is everything okay? She'll say, yeah, okay. Anything happened? Any matter? Anything the matter? Nothing. And seriously wrong. Okay, the man is in trouble. Because I do this all the time, so I know. So yeah, the men, I think, are God has made us like that. Okay, God has made us like that. Women have an antenna here. It's a little antenna which goes up. We feel and sense things a little more than men do.
Because
Sometimes it's a good thing. Sometimes it's not so good also.
not so good thing, because a very similar thing is like my wife is a quite a good cook, and she loves to cook and feed all of us, including me and all, and tries to take care of my interest, which is there. So suddenly I, a couple of days back in this lockdown and whatever, felt like having pani puri, and I got the puris and all. And then I told her, "Hey, I got the puris." She had not told me to get it. So she said, "Not happening." I said, "Why?" She said, "No, we are not going to make pani puris for the next 10 days." I said, "10
Oh.
days? But why?" Uh, she said, "No, there's something I have planned today." So I said, "Okay, today you have planned, let's do it tomorrow." She said, "No, tomorrow is also not possible and all." I said, "Okay, let's do on the weekend." She said, "No, on the weekend, that particular point in the evening, I have to see whatever Indian Idol or whatever dance thing which comes." So I'm still trying to figure out what exactly is that message, because I first not got the pani puri. Yeah. And I'm still trying to figure out, there's no reason for her not to give me pani puri. It's one of the, according to me, the simplest of job. And if she didn't mind it, I would have actually gone and made it myself. But now I can't even do that. So I'm just keeping quiet
Oh.
and trying to figure out कब आता है कि मतलब after 10 days कि
Something
अच्छा
else
तुमने
is wrong.
something is wrong. So
Something
I need
else
to,
is wrong. It's
yes.
not
So
the pani
I
puri.
it's
Something
not the
else
pani puri.
before that happened.
Yes. So
Something you would have thought about or said, and she's taking out gussa. Okay,
yes.
this is the gussa.
So which
Khunnas,
goodness.
revenge.
Correct.
Okay, so woman takes revenge in many ways. Okay, so not giving you the food that you want to eat, you bought the pani puris, is her way of taking revenge.
Yes.
But I
Okay.
hope you get your pani puri soon.
Yeah, I am hoping that. And pani puri is now become, after that conversation with you, is not so significant now. I'm just worried more about what exactly did I do, because I was at home. I actually was being a very good uh, guy all
Husband.
throughout, not getting into anything. Whatever she had asked, I have bought it. I have not spoken to anyone or done anything which is there. Okay, we have been discussing for the last 40 minutes, and uh, let me ask you one last question on this adda which we have. You had mentioned that you have traveled in 100 countries, and which is nearly, as you said, 50% of the countries which is there. So if there is a recommendation for many of us, or all of us, or even let's say for me, that once lockdown, or let's say the pandemic, lockdown is not the right word, when the pandemic is over, which is one country where maybe I should go for a vacation, and why?
If you can afford it,
Okay,
if you can afford it, Rome is my favorite destination.
lovely.
And with Milan, Florence, Italy, Venice. Okay, so I think Rome is one of the most beautiful countries made on earth. Okay, there's no place like it. So, I mean, I have been to Rome a couple of times, and sadly, those days there were no mobile phones, so we don't
Ah,
have pictures. Like, no,
yes.
right now we will click so many pictures, but
Mm,
it just gives you a kind of goosebumps. Okay, so when you
mm,
go in the gondolas in Venice, there are no roads in Venice.
yes.
Okay,
Mm,
so there's only waterways. So
mm,
you have to get into the gondolas, and you have to go to the market, or you go to office, or you go to somebody else's house. It's such a surreal feeling. It's surreal. You just feel like, am I really on earth? It's somewhere
mm,
else. So
mm,
I think for me, it's Rome. If you can afford it, I would love to go back again, and Venice. Closer to home, my favorite destination is Maldives. So I went
okay.
there recently also. So Maldives is beautiful, so clean. It's again, and it's the best part is the water. The water there is so clean. You can see the bottom of the sea. So whether
Mm,
you go snorkeling or scuba diving, or just in the water, you can see the bottom of the sea. You
mm,
can see corals. You can see different kinds of fish, colorful fish, and all kinds of stuff. So Maldives is very, very beautiful. Sadly, Maldives is. I read somewhere Maldives is sinking. It's
mm,
called the
mm,
sinking paradise because
mm,
it's supposed to be on Earth, the lowest point on Earth.
mm,
So it's a sinking paradise. It's going below. So maybe in 10 years or 15 years, Maldives will not be there. All the
mm.
islands and the resorts will not be there. So Maldives closer to Earth, closer to our
Good to
home,
home.
and
Mm,
Rome if you can afford it.
definitely.
My two favorite
Um,
destinations.
okay, I think that's a wonderful thing, and I will agree on the. I will agree on both the things. I have been to Rome and I have been to Venice, and this is exactly the same feeling which I had, uh, because Rome definitely gives you the historical perspective, and you just taken back thousands of years back, and you're just imagining.
Colosseum, gladiator fights,
Yes,
man-animal
yes,
fights, all that. Yes,
all those. Um,
yes.
and I think for many of us, we have grown up watching Hollywood movies and all. So you know that Wishing Fountain, and you are aware of so many things which are happening, and a very tourist-friendly place. Not very costly if you actually put it from that particular perspective, um, because somewhere uh, I'm not very sure, but for a similar kind of maybe. Uh, there might not be major difference between going to Rome and Maldives, maybe double the cost or maybe 1.5 times the cost which is there. Maldives, I have not been there because I, very similar to you, love to go where there is water. Yeah, I'm not so much of a snow person, or climbing a mountain or trekking and that kind of thing. I do that. The first part is more of museums and all, but I think definitely both are great choices which is there. So with that, and with trying to uh, look at wanderlust in a way, and Zindagi Ke Safar is nothing like another wanderlust. We are all into moving in different directions and different places which is there. Really thank you, Urmila, for taking the time out, and this has been a working day, and you were so kind to, at the end of the day, come over for this particular podcast which is there. Wish you all the best, and as you said, maybe either let's meet up physically in some training program as we used to be doing, or if not, maybe in couple of months the Durga Puja hopefully will come, and even if there is restriction, I hope the restriction is similar to last time, like is 50 or 100 people can at least be together to enjoy, keeping your
Yes.
all of us had mask. Just for this photograph we have removed this particular mask which is there. So thanks a lot for taking the time out.
Thank you so much, Tuhin. Thank you so much. You made me feel like a celebrity. I have
You
never
are
been
one.
interviewed before. I've never been interviewed before, so this was my first official interview. And but thank you so much. So I
Definitely.
felt that, I told you that day, Coffee with Karan. Okay, so there's
I
another
know.
program I follow, Coffee with Karan. So
Hmm.
that's a nice program. So this could be tea
Yes,
with Tuhin. So you could have given me
definitely.
some tea, virtual tea, which you
Yes,
didn't
I could
offer
have.
me.
I did. So definitely when we meet up, I will make up and not only give you virtual tea,
Yes,
I will definitely give you to
real,
some good chai,
real.
real chai.
Good chai, good chai. Yes, yes.
Okay, bye then.
Okay, so thank you so much. Thank you too.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye bye.
Take care.